The idea for shadow work has made doing it a trend. From TikTok to other YouTubers who post videos on what happens when they do shadow work for an X amount of days. Obviously, I don't know their history or what led them to do shadow work, but I decided to make this video to tell you the 3 stages of shadow work so that you will be doing it correctly. Not following these 3 stages can lead to dangerous consequences that can be more damaging to your spiritual journey, so I hope you pay attention. Let's get into it. Namaste, Secret Masters. I'm Dr. Iwas Ukehi, author of Shadow Work, Finding Your Light in Darkness, and I'm here to help you with your shadow work and manifesting questions to elevate your self-growth. So don't forget to subscribe for pick a card sessions, group of your numbers, and Ukehi vibrations, so that you don't miss on anything that can help you realize your full potential and find your light in the darkness. We're going to be talking about the 3 stages of shadow work. It is important that you do each stage step by step. Diving deep into projection work, inner reflections will lead to no progress if you skip these steps. You won't be able to cope in healthy ways, and intense feelings, while it may feel cathartic for a while, will plunge you back deeper into the abyss. Remember, shadow work is an end game for your spiritual journey. It is only attempted by those who have properly prepared for it. Shadow work will have you confronting fear, shame, anger, and all other emotions that, if you're not in a healthy mindset, can be extremely dangerous to your psyche. Digging deep to discover aspects of you that you've lost or parts of you that you repress, both light and dark, can mess with your mind. That's why I wrote my book, Shadow Work, Finding Your Light in the Darkness, and also why I created this channel, so that you can connect with this darkness from a place of peace and harmony as part of the universal divinity. Of course, I will give you the steps towards shadow work, and at the end, I'll give you the resources so that you know where to go next. So, what are these steps towards shadow work? Let's take a look at the first step, self-care. Self-care is very important because it prepares you for a healthier mindset when dealing with shadow work. Practice self-care before you jump to the next step. How do you do it? Self-care is different from self-love. You already have self-love. That's why you're watching this video. You love yourself enough to want to be better. Self-love is the instinct or desire to promote your own well-being and accept yourself. Self-care, on the other hand, is what we do to care for ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Sure, self-love and self-care can be linked, but it is self-care that we must look at as the first step of your shadow work journey. This is important because in this day and age where we have busy lives, stressful jobs, or too consumed by technology, me time is usually the last thing on someone's mind. One of the basics of a good healthcare routine is sleep. Make sure you get proper rest and good REM sleep. Not only does it give you more energy, but good sleep can also help you reduce stress. Make sure that you have a good healthy diet and exercise to keep your physical being in top shape when you do shadow work. Self-care also extends mentally. Learn how to say no to others and yes to yourself. With the energy that you have, focus it on yourself. This not only gives you more time for you, but it also builds self-confidence, which is another staple you need for more shadow work. Of course, this does not mean to isolate yourself. Having a good support group, close connection, is part of social healthcare as well. Practice compassion and acceptance for yourself. Listen to your inner dialogue. Are you saying good things about yourself? Are you making time for activities that mentally stimulate you? What about proactive things to help you stay mentally healthy? You can even combine it with some spiritual self-care by attending religious service, praying, or manifesting. Spirituality is an important part of self-care because it nourishes the soul. Remember, to practice proper self-care, feed the Trinity, body, mind, and soul. Once you're in a healthy state of practicing self-care, the next step is shadow child healing. All of us have experienced some kind of trauma in our lives, and usually these begin very early on when we are very young, starting with our primary caregivers. Without shadow child healing, we experience a lot of blockages in our lives. Sure, shadow work can help you remove these blockages, but if you don't heal the earliest trauma of your life, even your shadow work can be blocked. Worse yet, you do the shadow work but still find yourself stuck even after an intense session. In order to make shadow work effective, heal the shadow child first. This is why in my free 7-day course, I focus on healing the shadow child first before anything. Now, if you experience physical or sexual abuse as a child, please seek the help of a therapist before you go further. Some traumas are too tough for people to handle on their own. But for the majority of people, little things from their past like insidious, unconscious or indirect sorts of actions from our caregivers can give us feelings of neglect and a sense of being unwanted. You want to heal those past first before you work on the adult problems which stem from them, such as inability to let go or obsession with a person, object, or desire. Shadow child work can also help wake up our right brain, known for creativity, emotions, and imaginations, which can help support the left brain, which is responsible for logic, reason, language, and analytical thinking. You see, we cannot blame our primary caregivers for who we are. They do the best they can with what they know. But when your emotions are neglected enough, and this includes physical needs, our survival instincts kick in. We begin to people please, avoid conflict, rebel, or even worse, self-harm. This is the unhealed shadow child speaking out. Remember, our primary caregivers is just one aspect. In our childhood, we may experience unhealed wounds from our peers, friends, and even in relationships. So heal the shadow child first, because once that is done, we can begin real shadow work. Shadow work is then the third part of the healing process. When you are of a healthy and healed mindset, then we can begin to move from the past into the present in order to create our future. Shadow work is thus designed to help you integrate and accept every part of yourself so you can live and thrive in your full power and authenticity. Of course, in order to do that, you need to access your subconscious mind and embrace the parts of you that you have rejected. This is not easy, which is why I said before, shadow work is endgame spiritual growth. It is not for the person who just started learning how to heal and grow. This is intense work. We confront the dark parts of ourselves so that we can avoid issues such as poor self-esteem, self-deceit, anxiety, depression, offensive behavior, struggling to have a healthy relationship, self-sabotage, self-absorption, and the list goes on. We can't confront them with a single meditation or by listening to music. It's lifelong work. You need the stamina, which comes from self-care, and you need a strong mental and emotional support, which is where shadow child healing comes in. This is why shadow work is not for the faint of heart, but for the brave and courageous. Not many people can do this. For subscribers on my channel, I see you not as followers, but as sacred masters. When I look at my subscriber count, I don't see numbers that gauge my popularity on YouTube, but instead, I see the amount of people willing to put in the work. Which is why you probably inspire me more than I inspire you. I look at these numbers and see us all as a community. We are here for each other on a journey that few will take. That alone commands a lot of respect, especially from me. This is no small task. Whatever I can do to help you on that journey is what I wish for. After all, like I said, you guys inspire me and fuel me too. So, enough about me gushing on you. Going back to those 3 steps, how can you make that journey towards shadow work and prepare yourself for the most effective sessions with your subconscious? With self-care, it is very hard for me to advise you since each of us are unique and different. You will have to decide for yourself what fits you best. Let your body be the barometer about what type of self-care you need. If your body feels good, it feels light and energized, do it. Some of you may prefer to read books, which is a form of mental self-care. Some may prefer to exercise, physical healthcare. Only you know the best. But for shadow child healing and then shadow work, this is where I can help you. I have already integrated shadow child healing in a step-by-step process, from observation to acceptance, love, and healing. Do the whole 7-day course, and by the end of it, you will already have done light shadow work, and this channel will continue to provide you more tips on more ways to do them. Go to my homepage, youtube.com/shadowwork, and you'll find it there, including playlists of everything from shadowwork tips and techniques to pick-a-card sessions. Importantly, I have also provided to you some healing frequencies you can use during your shadowwork sessions, so save the homepage and you can come back, find something that suits your needs. For example, if you feel that you need to practice letting go, I have a video for that in my tips and techniques playlist, a meditation to help you as well. If you want to do it on your own, use the frequencies from Groboga codes to pure tones so that your sessions can be filled with healing music and frequencies to make your shadowwork sessions easier as well. I'm going to start by linking the homepage here, and on this site, you can also jump to the free 7-day course. I'll see you there. Namaste.